your forecast first. Sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Well, our Friday started out not too bad. Saw some sunshine and warmer temperatures as this heat wave moved across our viewing area. But now we are seeing quite a bit of precipitation, as you can see on our storm tracker Doppler right now. A small cell is moving into the Champaign area. Really raining cats and dogs right now, and there's going to be an even bigger system just off to the west. It's in Springfield right now that will be making its way east across the viewing area, across this red line there. That's that warm front that's really moving these systems very slowly, so it's going to be dumping quite a bit of moisture over the next few hours here, and that rain will continue throughout the day on Saturday. But the good news throughout our day, those temperatures reached into the upper 60s and staying mild throughout our night, only dropping into the upper 40s, but more precipitation is in this 7-day forecast. I'll be tracking all of that rain coming up. WCIA 3 News starts
now from WCIA 3 News.
I'm not going to enforce this.
The governor wants everyone to wear a mask in public if they can't social distance, but one sheriff is saying no.
We're all facing a lot of uncertainty right now.
And that doesn't help when it comes time to pay the bills, what people out of a job can do about their mortgage. Nurseries have been given the green light to let the green thumbs go shop, but they have to do it with some changes in place.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 10.
This is a public health emergency. This isn't a law enforcement emergency.
The Douglas County Sheriff disagrees with the governor's updated stay-at-home order, and now he's refusing to enforce those rules within his agency. Good evening, I'm Jessica Coons. 1 week from today, people will be required to wear face masks in public when they can't maintain 6 feet of separation. The Douglas County Sheriff says that goes against people's constitutional rights. WCIA 3's Jennifer Jensen has the story.
Douglas County Sheriff Joshua Blackwell is taking a strong stance against Governor Pritzker's latest stay-at-home order policy.
If he wants to come out with the guidelines, that's great. But as far as a law enforcement standpoint, we're not going to enforce it.
When the governor announced the stay-at-home order would be extended to May 30th, he also included several changes. One stated that starting May 1st, people will be required to wear masks if they can't maintain social distance of 6 feet when in public. But Sheriff Blackwell disagrees with that mandate.
I'm not going to enforce this. I'm especially not going to make my employees wear masks. You know, they've all been offered the masks. If they want to wear them, they can, but I'm not going to mandate it unless they are specifically dealing with someone that has COVID.
Sheriff Blackwell says another reason he doesn't plan to enforce the rule is because people in Douglas County have not been affected by COVID-19 in the same way as other areas.
Yeah, it's a national pandemic, but if you look at Douglas County, we have 12 residents with COVID, which is 0.0006% of our population.
He believes enforcement of this policy is not a police agency's responsibility.
There's a difference between public safety and public health. Again, this is a public health emergency. This isn't a law enforcement emergency.
Governor Pritzker responded to this directly at Friday's COVID-19 press briefing.
I feel badly for the people of that county that they have somebody who doesn't recognize that this is a worldwide and very virulent virus that is, is among us. It's not going away. And we're going to have to follow the rules in order for us to get through this and keep people alive and reopen our economy.
In turn, Sheriff Blackwell came back with a question for Governor Pritzker.
My question would be to the governor is, if it's so important that people wear masks and that this is such a dire need, why not make it effective today instead of waiting until May 1st?
That was Jennifer Jensen reporting. The county coroner does have some power over the sheriff, but that's only in criminal matters. It's the sheriff's decision not to enforce this, and nobody in the county has authority over him in this case. We contacted the Douglas County Health Department, but have not heard back. For some perspective, Douglas County has more cases per 10,000 people than Champaign County, but important to note, Douglas County has a much smaller population, about 19,000 people compared to about 209,000 in Champaign County. The governor was asked several questions about unemployment after today's COVID-19 briefing. More than 750,000 people in Illinois have applied for unemployment, but some people have had issues getting a hold of IDES. The governor says the department is already taking 3 to 4 times the number of calls than they already were at the beginning of this pandemic. And they are looking to hire more people, but that takes time.
The federal government actually has requirements of training, and that training requirement is rather lengthy process. And so, because people are giving their personal information to somebody over the phone, and you wouldn't want to give that to somebody who might misuse that information or doesn't understand how private that information really is.
As for gig workers, their unemployment won't be available until the second week of May. The governor says they should still apply now and get rejected. That way their information is in the system for when their unemployment is available next month. Pet groomers are allowed to open back up under the new stay-at-home rules, but hair salons must still stay closed. And some salon owners say if people can take their pets to the groomers, then people should be able to get their hair cut and colored. Erica Kiefer owns Foxy Style Salon in Effingham. 12 stylists rent stations at her salon. She's been giving them a break on rent, but says that's tough when she still has all of her bills to pay.
Now we're going to go into 2 months and still have nothing. And I can't provide for my girls. And I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of them, there's some that are single moms. And how do you do that? I mean, and some of them haven't got any checks, or there is no unemployment at all.
In an interview today, CU Public Health District Administrator Julie Pride said it's likely pet grooming was allowed to open up first because there's much less human contact involved as compared to prolonged contact in places like a salon. Buying or selling a house can be stressful enough, and having that happen during a pandemic can cause even more. For some, paying house bills is the biggest issue right now, but experts say you do have some options. Like everything else, the real estate market is feeling the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic.
We're all facing a lot of uncertainty right now. A lot of people don't know what's going on, these strange times that we're living in.
Real estate broker Dion Clifton says people are still listing their properties for sale, but is now a good time to buy?
There's definitely some good deals to be had right now. Interest rates are near their all-time lows. And anytime there's something like this going on, there's always going to be some deals on properties out there too.
Take a quick drive around Champaign-Urbana and you'll see a number of houses for sale. So is the crisis impacting the cost?
I still think that home values in our county specifically tend to be very static. Buyers and sellers are kind of in the same position and trying to meet each other in the middle with negotiating for homes at this point.
The pandemic has also left many out of a job or furloughed, but they still have mortgages to pay. Senior mortgage banker David Nelson says there are some systems in place to help.
Anyone whose ability to make their mortgage payment has been affected by COVID-19 to enter into forbearance, which basically means they can put a pause essentially on their mortgage payments.
If you have lost your job or have been furloughed, you're encouraged to contact your lender to see what options you have. The highest number of coronavirus cases in a day for Illinois were announced this afternoon, but officials say that's also because there's more widespread testing. The Department of Public Health announced nearly 3,000 more positive cases and 108 more deaths. That brings the state total cases to nearly 40,000. 1,795 people have died. Coles County reported its first death from COVID-19 today. The health department is not releasing any information about that person. There have been 22 cases there. 6 people have recovered. There are now 104 cases of coronavirus in Macon County. 75 of those are linked to assisted living facilities, including almost a dozen deaths. Fairhaven Senior Living in Decatur is home to a large number of cases. Jean Drew was the 9th reported death at that facility. She tested positive April 11th and passed away the following week. We spoke with her family.
As the days and the weeks went on, it became increasingly apparent that the healthcare professionals, at least at Fairhaven's, were not trained. There were no protocols, and it was woefully inadequate.
Fairhaven's is conducting an internal investigation into one accusation of abuse or neglect. A representative says it's legally required of them to conduct an investigation into any accusation that is made. New tonight, 2 people had an inappropriate exposure to disinfectants last night after the president's comments and called the Illinois Poison Control Hotline. But this isn't new. Calls to the IPC have increased 36% during this pandemic. That includes people using bleach to wash their hands or produce and then eating the food. The Illinois Poison Center is reminding people to only use disinfectants as directed and to, quote, never eat, swallow, or ingest cleansers or disinfectants. Champaign County essential workers are in need of face masks, so we're having a drive to help them out. It'll be Tuesday in our back parking lot in Champaign. You should follow CDC guidelines for mask making and put them in a sealed plastic bag. We have a link for that on our website. On Tuesday, you can drive up, throw your mask into a bin, and drive off without having any contact with anyone. Students have to learn remotely for the rest of the school year, but that's a problem if they can't access the internet. Governor Pritzker's administration recently revealed a hotspot map. It shows public areas around the state where students can use Wi-Fi. Many public libraries are on that list.
But definitely check with your local library to see if they do offer the Wi-Fi hotspots. And most libraries in the area are at least providing the Wi-Fi from the building out into the parking lot. So you can, drive to the parking lot and at least sit in your car and access it.
Right now, there are more than 200 hotspot locations on the map. Universities and community colleges are also on the list. For a link to the list, go to WCIA.com. Teachers at one school wanted to show their students how much they miss them. But after a shooting in one of the school's neighborhoods, they made sure to show their solidarity. Plus, planting season is upon us and nurseries are open for business. Some changes you could see when you go to one. And later, one high school baseball team had a feeling their last practice together could actually be their last time playing together. How they made it count.